Hi everyone. I always get this question every time I do persimmon distillation, and the question is don't those leaves stink? A lot of people say that. Actually, it depends on the species. So if you have a Fuju, I think is how you say it, Fuju persimmon tree, those leaves stink. So they really emit a bad odor, so they're not very good. People use them for tea, but honestly, I think it's one of the worst smelling leaves I've ever encountered. However, I have, and as you all know, I did a distillation last night of persimmon, and I got some hydrosol, and I got just a tiny little bit of oil. Okay, this is a very sweet smelling kind of green note, slightly citrus um, oil. I and no, I will not be selling this. However, I will be selling this. The leaf itself, if you can see this, is pretty green and it's very shiny. And it's much like a magnolia tree. It has kind of a slight beigey brown color on the back side, and it's fairly thick. So this one is a Persimmon Americana. Um, this is the American persimmon, and this is a persimmon that is not seedless. It does have seeds. So this is one of the best persimmon trees to get leaves for tea, distillation, um, and the seeds are great for skincare and that kind of thing. So actually, these smell really good. These smell slightly sweet. Um, they have a very green note, you know, and a slight citrus, kind of just a tiny bit of citrus in it. I usually don't harvest the leaves until the fruit has a little color. And right now my persimmons have color in them, and so they're kind of turning. And by about they will be quite yellow in by September, and then of course in October is when I really start harvesting the persimmon fruit itself. But the fruit really, it actually forms right away. The flowers show up in the spring, and by June I've got little green fruit, and they take a very long time to develop. And so the persimmon is, you have to have a lot of patience to have a persimmon tree, because you can't expect the fruit to be there right away. But I like to harvest some of the leaves. Okay, you have to have a pretty good sized persimmon tree to do this. You don't want to do this to a smaller tree, but um, I like to harvest the leaves and distill them. Now, I was quite shocked that I got a little bit of oil. I was very shocked by that. But that has it really, I think, why it gave me, and this is just a guess, is because these leaves are much like magnolia leaves, which will give you essential oil. Now, I really do have to stuff the pot really heavily in order to get anything out of it, really. Um, but the essential oil, I've always gotten just like a small, tiny amount. And of course, I've always let that just kind of go in to the hydrosol. But this time around, I got, you know, um, actually, I got almost three. There is some that I actually took out of this, and I used it for something else because I'm experimenting with it. But it has kind of I hate saying this word, but it's overly sweet, but it's also got a citrus, a slight citrus, and lots of green notes. So it has it does have tenacity, that's for sure. Um, but I'm really, really shocked at the fact that I got this. But no, it does not come from the Fuju. Um, I hope I'm saying that right. Fuju persimmon trees. This is Persimmon Americana, and these persimmons have the little seeds. And I did have some seeds here that I can show you. Yeah, here we go. Let me see if I can pull some of these seeds out and kind of show you. But that's what the seeds look like. So they're just little brown seeds. Oh, whoops, I just dropped that one. There we go. It's just a little brown seed, and these are, let's see, I'm trying to find my camera here. So these are little persimmon seeds, and these I do harvest these, and I do a cold press on these for my own personal use. The persimmon seed that we do have in our shop actually comes from Israel and the Upper Galilee. So we also get it from the persimmons there as well. I will tell you, they grow all different types of persimmons in Israel. Israel is pretty well known for its persimmon, and so they grow, quite a bit of them, and they have the seedless, which is the Fuju, but they also have the regular Americanas type species, and there's a few other species that I can't think of right now, but their leaves smell wonderful, just like this one does. So, it smells so good. It makes great tea. Wonderful tea, beautiful hydrosol. This hydrosol is really, I want to just say something about the hydrosol. And people have asked me, why do you make a hydrosol? Why would you do that, to the leaves? Well, first and foremost, the hydrosol is used quite often as an after shower spray. It's to help people that are older, that might have body odor. Um, it's for anyone who has a lot of body odor, and they usually spray it um, on themselves to eliminate that. It's the kind of odor that um, it's called neonal, I think is what the word is for it. Correct me on that if if you guys know what it is. Put a comment in the comment down below. But it's neonal is the ingredient, or the basically the cause of bad odor, and hydrosol can be used to eliminate that, which is cool. And some people use this in their soaps, um, creams, and lotions, and that kind of thing. So this hydrosol is coveted. It's very, very rare on the market. So it's one of the rarest hydrosols out there. As far as essential oil, they do have essential oil from the leaves that is usually something like this, that comes from a distillation. Of course, it would take 3 times the amount of leaves, I'm certain, that that would give a lot more oil. I mean, because this is 3.5 hours of work. So, but the leaves that can be their CO2, sorry, a CO2 extraction can be done. And so you can sometimes find that oil on the market, but it's few and far between. I've only seen it a few times. So, but I love persimmon. I think persimmon is absolutely wonderful. I use everything from the fruit to, eating the fruit to cold pressing the seeds to distillation of the leaves. And again, this is a different species. It does smell good. So the question that a lot of you had was, don't they stink? And I'm like, no, because they're not the same species. So each species is a little different, and the Fuju, or the Fuju, I think is how you pronounce it, is very stinky. And I would stay away from those. If that's what you have in your garden, please do not try to distill those, because those are stinky and it will stink up your house. Um, if you do want to distill them and you're crazy enough to do it, go for it. But I would recommend doing it outside. But these leaves are absolutely fabulous. They smell really good, very, just really, really wonderful. And I love the color. As again, you can see the deep, rich green color. They're shiny leaves. And on the other side is slightly beigey brown color. Um, you know, and you can see the brown around the leaves, see the color more, but some of them can get pretty dark. They can be really bright, kind of a darker beige color, not quite like a magnolia tree. Now, magnolia tree can be almost an amber red color. It's anywhere from a light beige to an amber red color, and I have magnolia trees that have both, but they're the same species. So that is my little video on my little project of doing persimmon oil and hydrosol, mainly hydrosol. And so I love persimmons, and if you have persimmons, be really thankful to have them, because it's absolutely a wonderful fruit. Oh, the other thing that I want to mention about persimmon is the fruit itself can really go a long time. The more ripe it is, the sweeter the fruit is. Okay, so the longer you let it sit, even if you harvest it, if you let it sit for a very long time, for a long time, persimmon gets sweeter. So that bitterness, the tanniness, I think is the word for it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes, I do a lot of this out of the top of my head. But it has an ingredient in it that causes the bitterness. So when you put it in your mouth, you taste this really sweet at first, and then a little bit of a bitter, and it kind of makes your tongue feel a little weird. That means it's not ripe enough. So the longer you let it ripen, the sweeter it is and the less bitter it is, and makes wonderful juice, beautiful salads. You can cook it, put it in your baking. I mean, it's just a fabulous fruit. And the whole tree it's absolutely incredible. There's Native Americans here where I'm at who like to strip some of the bark, they don't do that to small trees, but they will do it to larger trees, and they will strip the just a little bit and use it in a tea, and that has incredible, phenomenal medicinal properties. So this is my this is my persimmon tree in America, and I have several. So thank you so much for viewing, and hit the like and subscribe button. I appreciate you so much, and have a good day. Bye bye.